All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to start off by giving my praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors, there's a project great meals, Tony Thomas, truth and rule well. Peace, blessing, and salutation, I come out there. Scattered abroad to the four corners of the earth, that's serving this truth and sincerity to us, Shalom. This is Button and Bala, continue the video in the spirit. And the top of this video is going to be about E is struggling out here, and just something, I've just been observing, and just, you see the different videos of E posting and them crashing out, going about how it's just hard for them to survive, it's hard for them to live in the means that they once was living in, and it's increasing, this happened. You've seen the videos from E, earlier this year, but it's even increasing. I was at the gym a couple weeks ago, and I was in the sauna, and you got all type of people that come in there, and it was 3 Edomites in there, and they were just talking about, some things they had going on, and I'm just listening like, damn, E out here struggling now. And then, at the sit downs, brothers basically said that E is the new nigga, E's the new Jake, in the sense of them going through the struggle and the curses that we have to go through, man. And the scriptures speak on that. This is Deuteronomy 30:7. It says, "And the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee." So that's a fulfillment of this prophecy right here, man. Because this is a prophecy. When the Lord says he's gonna put all these curses upon thy enemies, the curses that go to Deuteronomy 28, that we had to go through, that played out while we've been over here serving our captivity over here in America, aka Mystery Babylon the Great. We had to live out these curses day in and day out. We're still under the curses to this day, but we're in the transitional period where the Lord is lifting the curses off of us and putting them upon our enemies, man. And that's what we get to see with Esau, and it's a beautiful thing to see. The scriptures say, real quick, Salakia. How is it? Since Iraq, what is it? Let me see. I know enemies is in it. Oh, damn. I know it's in Sirach. Bear with me, Baba Kashar. I know it's in Sirach. Give me 1 second. Let me get to it. Where is it? Bear with me, Baba Kashar. Salakia. Let me see. Yeah. All right. So it was just enemy. This is Sirach 25:7. It says, "There be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy. And the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemies." Yeah. So we rejoice seeing these things because we're seeing the fall of Esau right before our very eyes, and it's leading all the way up into his ultimate fall. He's completely taken out of rulership, and we're in authority. We're gonna have that power. But until we live to that point, we're going to see, the trickle effects of him falling, and it starts by these curses being put on them. One thing the brother said, he said he was at the store and he seen Edomite credit card decline. And he said what he was trying to buy was only like $4. And he said when he walked out, he seen Edomite in the car and he was like, had his hands on his head like he was stressing. And, and that's the state of a lot of E's out here, man. They going through it. They don't have all the answers they once was, that they once had, Salakia. How how everything was just made for them. Credit score was good. They had abundance of credit cards. They got the black cards, with had house was being paid on time, or they owned the house, car notes was being paid on time, insurance, everything was accessible to them. Everything was in their favor. But now things are not in their favor no more, because we're at the end of their rulership. So it's meant for them to be going through these curses, and we're going to rejoice seeing these things, man, because we've had to live them. For years, man. For years, we've had to live them, man. And now y'all get a little taste of what it feels like, man. To not have funds that you used to have, man. To see how you going to actually live that check by check lifestyle, because we've been living that for a very long time. Jake been rubbing two niggas together to make a dime for a minute, but for us brothers who serve Yahweh Shem Yahushai, like it says in the Lord's Prayer, give us this day our daily bread. The Lord, blesses us and keeps us afloat. We got the Lord on our side. The rest of Jake don't have the Lord, and especially E don't have the Lord on their side, man. So when times get hard, they don't have nothing to fall back on and rely on, man. And that's why they end up crashing out or bugging out. But we have something to fall back on and rely on, and that's Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. So I'm gonna grab this. This is Psalms 73. I'm going to start at 3. It says, "For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not troubled as other men, neither are they plagued like other men." And this is E, man. And it says, "I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked," because you see how E has prospered, man. How they able to go into a bank and get a loan right then and there, man. They can just get anything right then and there, man. They're showed favor, and it does vex you to a point, man, because you got Jake out here busting their ass, man, and even they can bust their ass. They can have good credit card. They can have money in their pocket. They go to the bank and try to get a loan, and they still get denied, man. But E go in there, and they approve them right away. They don't even go through give them all the hassle to go through it, man. So yeah, them things vex you. They go into a car lot, man. They put $0 down on a car. They driving off with a fresh ass 2026 or whatever, man. And you go in there, you gotta put 2,000, 4,000, 5,000 down. Still probably gotta have a co-signer. Car note still high as hell, man. So yeah, you had them times where you be vexed, man. And you be mad, but this is how the Lord set them up. And it says they're not troubled or they play like, man, they ain't really been going through no struggle. They really ain't been, living out these curses, man, because it wasn't meant for them to. But now it is, though. But throughout all this time, they has not been plagued as other men. Especially, look at the system. A Edom might do something, they get a slap on the wrist. They may get probation, or may have to pay a couple fines, and they good to go, man. But let Jake get caught up in the system. They down there trying to throw the whole book at him, man. He never had to worry about looking over his shoulder, because he's always been the big bad wolf. But now that mindset that he's had is coming to an end. And with us in this truth, we understand that even though he's in rulership and he is the man in control, that he does have a time where he's going to be brought down, man. So that's when you come over here to Psalms 37:1. It says, "A Psalm of David. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, for they shall be cut down like the grass and wither as a green herb. Yeah. So don't be worried about these evildoers, man. Don't be worried about man. You know, because they got it, because they living it up right now. They supposed to. This is their kingdom. They're supposed to be living up. Yeah, it vexes you, man. Because you got Jake that be trying to out here do the right way. Me and the brother was talking earlier. You got Jake being that I gotta get it out the mud mindset. You out here struggling, busting your ass, man, and E just get everything handed to him. So yeah, it does vex you, man. And then even with E being in power, all he wants to do is to oppress. You know, he does not know how to rule, man. And the scriptures say, surely oppression makes a wise man mad. So yeah, you got Jake that be getting, you know, Jake be having they crash out moments, man, where they just gotta let it out, they venting moments, man. You know, but then it gets to you when you know you can't do nothing about it. You can't touch this man, you know, because of the mark that the Lord has on them, because they have that mark of Cain that goes all the way back to Cain, who's Esau, and the reincarnation. You know, they have that mark of exemption where we can't touch them. If you touch Cain, you receive sevenfold, man. So we can't touch him right now. So you can't touch this man. He can do whatever he want. He can get whatever he want, and he constantly talks shit and oppress your ass, man. Yeah, that's vexing, man. But at the end of the day, this is what we have to serve this out, because we sin and transgress against Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. So this is part of our punishment, watching our enemy and our oppressor rule over us and live it up. But we know at the end that, like it says in verse 2, it says they soon should be cut down like the grass and wither as a green herb. Yeah, Esau is going to soon be taken out of the way, man. You know, he's going to be taken out of power. He's going to have to serve us. And after he served us for so long, he's going to be done away with. We know what happens at the end of this. So us knowing the end game, that gives us hope, man. And that helps boost our faith too, man. That knowing that we continue in this walk and in this journey, that we're at the end, we get the victory. And how are we going to get the victory? You know, through the faith and also through these scriptures, man. From us having, like I said in the video I just did, we have the answers, man. We got the answer key. We know what's gonna happen at the end. So all we gotta do is what? Is just continue, man. So I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna read verse 3. It says, trust in the Lord and do good, so shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed. And there you go, man. It all comes down to trusting Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. Yahweh by Shem Yahushai is in control, man. This is his movie. So we just continue to trust in him and allow things to play out like they may. And we see it with E struggling, man. And it's only going to get worse for everybody. This is 2 Ezra 16. And I'm going to start at 18. It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? And these are the times we're in right now, the beginning of sorrows, man, where it's going to get very tough for everybody, man. You know, you got this man in office who's cutting funding and programs for everybody. Yeah, his main target is Jake, but they always try to say that Jake are the main ones that's on these assistance programs and getting all this assistance. And it's not. It be E. So now you take them programs away for E, and then you start really like looking into stuff, you know, because a lot of these things be based off of what you make. And Esau be making money, but they be figuring out how to get over on the system. But now when they make it where you got to really prove this and prove that, and now it's found out that you really living all right, and they cut you off, then you through. Because for food stamps, and for example, that little extra money that you get helps out. That's money. That's your own personal money that you don't have to put down on nothing. Any money that you get for assistance money that you get that you don't have to put down on anything, you don't have to use your own money for, helps out, because that allows you to to take care of other things or to do other things with your money. But now when you got to use solely your own money for everything, it's a different type of ball game. It's a different type of life now. You know, you can't splurge how you want to, and you can't buy in abundance. You gotta buy like Jake. You gotta damn near ration how you get stuff now. You know, but these are the times that we're in it, and they're going to increase. Things are going to continue to get worse and worse, man. Especially with this war going on, man. You know, they've been bombing the shit out of Iran. Strait of Hormuz is still sealed up. They talking about we about to run out of oil, man. It's about to get bad out here, man. So and you're gonna see people's true nature. But it's really gonna get bad for E, man. Cause E think they gonna be in a good case. E think that E gonna rely on their sword. E think that they them people still, but they gonna find out that y'all not. Because of, man, like the scriptures talk about, every nation of people is gonna be against you. Every nation of people is gonna hate you, man. So you're not gonna have no friends, no allies out here, man. It's gonna really be every man for themselves. So verse 19 says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for a minute. But for all things they should not turn from their wickedness, nor be over mindful of these scourges. It says, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth, so they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, great confusion. That's what's happening. You know, that when victuals so cheap, that happened, you know, during the 2020. You know, and they was giving out that abundance of money, unemployment, stimulus checks. You know, some of these businesses, they was getting them, you know, that loan money and stuff like that, which people was getting over on. You know, it was, and they had all this money, and everything was affordable to them. You know, but so they thought they was in a good case. But now we're in the times where that money's drying up. You know, and then especially the prices of things are going up, man. So you're not in a good case no more. And it says that even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. And those things are getting ready to start happening. You know, a lot of people, man, through the disasters, that the Lord is causing to happen, is taking out a lot of people. But wait until it gets to people fighting each other. That sword, man, and that famine, when them shells is not as stocked up as they used to be, man. And it says in great confusion. Why it's gonna be great confusion? Because no one's gonna know what the fuck is going on, man. The only ones who's gonna know what's going on is the men of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Like it says in Isaiah 33:6, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. So the men of the Lord are gonna be stable. Everybody else gonna be out here just confused and lost in the sauce and not gonna know what the fuck going on. And then you are going to have the ones who are going to try to seek us and try to get answers, but we ain't going to have nothing for you. Because when the Lord get down, when it's action time, it ain't going to be no more talking, man. So right now, we're still in the talking period, you know. This truth is still accessible to you, you know, to you Jakes, to you Israelites, to you Negro, to you Native Americans. This is who this truth is for, and only for the elect. But for you Edomites and the rest of you nations of people, y'all through, you know. And like Sabbath brother was saying, you better live it up now. You better, if you struggling, you better, like you say, pull yourselves by the bootstraps, and you better pull yourself out. You better figure that shit out, and so you can enjoy your kingdom while you can, because after this, you through. So this is verse 22. It says, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And that's it, man. Ain't death. That's what's going to be promised to a lot of you people. That's what is promised to a lot of people, is death, man. You're going to die from famine. You're going to die, or you're going to die from hunger. I mean, not hunger. You're going to die from famine, or you're going to die from the sword, man. You know, he has to come roll with that great wrath. He has to show you how serious he is about his agenda. And if you don't want to partake in that, he's going to come with a solution. What's going to be a solution, man? Because it's the point. This is the point right here. Revelations 3:10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. And that hour of temptation is the MOTB, man. everyone's going to be tried with that. And E's going to conform to it. Why? Because, like I say, E's been so used of being in a good case. E's been so used of just being, stable. When they're unstable, they're not going to know what to do. And they're just going to automatically conform to the NWO. They're going to easily do it, man. Because they're struggling and they're not going to be used to struggle. They're not going to know how to get through that. And Elijah J going to do it. Everyone's going to take it. Everyone's going to take it because it's going to come a point where everyone's going to struggle. That beginning of sorrows as in 2 Ezra 16, everyone's going to feel it. The whole world is going to feel it. Yeah, it's going to be real over here in America, but the whole world is going to be going through it, man. And that's why it says that our temptation is going to come upon everyone that dwell upon the earth. Everyone's going to be tried with that because it's going to be a time of trouble for everyone, man. So for us that's in this truth, what are we going to do? We're going to continue to what? To pray and have faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And Lord willing, we can escape all these troubles, And we continue to do what the Lord has required and commanded us to do, and we continue to please him, man. So I continue to throw up prayers for you brothers, man, for you Akim. And you few sincere sisters that's out there, man. They stay prayed up in these times because we see what's going on and we see what's coming down the road, man. So, hey, like the elders and apostles been saying for a while, it's getting real out here and it's really time to lock in, and hey, do our part. So that's pretty much it. Lord, this video is edifying. I'm closed. I'll be giving our praises to Yahweh. B'Shem Yahushai. B'Shem Kakadash. Shalom.